Hi everyone. My name is Chantel. I am one day post-op of an abdominal hysterectomy. Um, the reason for requesting a hysterectomy from my doctor was because my cycles were 9 to 14 days long, just with heavy bleeding, and I was having to change my tampons and pads. I was using both at the same time. So I would use Kotex Super Plus tampons, and always overnight with wings pad, and I was having to change them every hour on the hour. Um, when I discussed this with my doctor advised that I'll be placed on birth control pills or the Marina IUD, and I wasn't receptacle. Um, I wasn't receptive. Excuse me. I wasn't receptive to any of her recommendations. Number one, because I did not want to get on a pill. I hadn't been on a pill since high school, and I did remember that when on the pill, I blew up. Like I gained weight, and then with the IUD, the Marina IUD, I just didn't do that because number one, um, I did not want to implant any foreign material inside of my body, not knowing if I would have complications, um, and I just didn't hear. I haven't heard any good things about that contraceptive. So I told the doctor that there were no other options for me but a hysterectomy. That was the only thing that I wanted to talk about, to be honest. So um, that was in June of this year, and I had I was scheduled to have the hysterectomy the 26th or 27th of June, but the hospital was booked, so they had to um, move the date out to July the 11th of this year, which was yesterday. So um, I've had 3 C-sections, classical. So the plan was to go through, excuse me, I turn on TV. The plan was to go through the original C-section scars, C-section site, excuse me, to um, to gain access to my inside abdominal area. But I just found out less than an hour ago. The doctor just came to me, so it's 9:33 here in Chicago. So he came about 8:30 and wanted to see my incision. So he takes the bandages off and he says, "Oh, I don't think I've mentioned it to you, but I gave you a horizontal cut right below your belly, not below your belly, but your bikini line." So I was excited about that because my concern was if he went through the existing C-section site that I've had 3 pregnancies out of, the scar tissue would, um, it would just be too much scar tissue, which would potentially leave me in a lot of pain after the surgery. So, so I can tell you guys how I feel today. Well, yesterday after recovery, they brought me into my private room, and they gave me Dilaudid and Norco. No, Dilaudid. I'm sorry, just Dilaudid. And I pretty much slept from. I think I was in my room about 2:30 maybe. So I slept on and off maybe every hour. The only time I was waking up was when the doctors were coming in to take my vital signs. I slept from 2 to about 7:30, and my husband was here, and he left. He said, "Shani, I'm leaving, so just be aware that you're in your room by yourself now. So, um, so you if you hear any type of moving, you need to wake up and make sure everything's okay in the room." And I was fine with that. So I slept. I slept throughout the night, and this morning I was able to. Yeah, I would say about 11:30, 12 o'clock today. I was able to get the catheter removed, and I did 2 laps around the nurse's station, and then when I came back, I went to the bathroom and washed up. So I'm pretty independent. I do have some pain. I opted not to take any narcotics while I was here, so they have me on Toradol, 30 milligrams every 6 hours, and I have Tylenol extra strength. If I need them, I can take them as well. So after I washed up and put on, as you can see, I have on street clothes. I had on a nightgown, but I dropped some mustard and onions on it, and I couldn't get past that smell, so I had to wash up and put on a new shirt. After I washed up, I sat up in a chair from about noon until 4, maybe. And then I just was like, all right, I need to get back to bed because my body was tired. And then I got a phone call telling me that my grandbaby was born, and they were on the same floor that I was. So, of course, I got out of bed and walked down to where the babies are and sat with my granddaughter for about 20 minutes, and then I came back here to get some rest. I did notice that by me doing all that walking, the walk from my room to my son's room was about 4 minutes. So from that 4-minute walk there and then back, I was having some, minor pain in my stomach. And I figured if I laid down, I would be okay, which I was. But I'm glad I did get up and walk because that allowed me to have gas, like to relieve the gas that was in my stomach. I haven't had a bowel movement yet, but I have been able to get up and go urinate, and so they can measure how much I'm outputting. And then after I saw the grandbaby, I came and rested for a little while, and then I got back up and I did another 2 laps around the nurse's station. My goal is to be as active as I can because I don't want my muscles stiffening up. And when I go home, I'm going to get discharged tomorrow. When I go home, I may have a couple of hours that I'm by myself from the time that my husband gets home from work, from the time that I wake up and then the time that my husband gets home from work. I'll be home by myself. So I would like to be able to be mobile and move around if I have to. So I was going to get discharged today, but this evening. But the only reason I did not get discharged is because my blood pressure is elevated and my heart rate is elevated. So my blood pressure, what was it, 160? I can't even remember. Maybe 160 over 170. I can't even remember. Don't hold that to my don't hold it to my mind or my heart. But anyway, it was high, and my doctor did not feel comfortable with sending me home with my pressure being that high. But I also must state that my primary care physician just prescribed me last week a new high blood pressure medicine. I used to take lisinopril 5 milligrams or 10 milligrams maybe, and this is a new doctor that I'm going to now. She gave me metoprolol or something like that, metoprolol, 100 milligrams. And I took that medication one time. They call it a beta blocker. I took it one time, and my head was hurting me so bad. It felt like I was going to have a stroke, like the back of my head, where my spinal cord meets my brain or whatever. It just hurt so bad. I said I wasn't going to take that medication anymore. So I knew, and I know, that the reason why my blood pressure is elevated is because I haven't been taking the medicine. So my doctor ordered me another medication called, I can't remember. Let me see if I can get the paper. Called amlodipine. And I guess a brand for that would be Norvasc, and it's 5 milligrams. And I took that probably about 6, and no headaches. So if they want to put me on that, going forward, I'll be happy to take that. Or they can just put me back on lisinopril. So I don't have any major complications. During the hysterectomy, the doctor told me afterwards that he was able to remove my uterus and cervix, and my left fallopian tube. I was keeping my ovaries anyhow, but he said he could not see my right fallopian tube, and he really wasn't pressed about getting it and cutting it out because I lost a lot of blood in surgery. So his concern was to hurry up and finish, what he was doing, and me having that right fallopian tube would not cause any harm. So that's what that was about. So I'm happy it's over with. I'm happy to not to not have pain. I'm happy to not have a period, especially a heavy period like I had. Having endometriosis is not fun at all. Luckily I did not have any fibroids, so I'm just moving forward from that. So the only thing I do now is remind myself not to overdo it. So that's what I'm doing. It hurts me to sneeze. It hurts me to cough. I put a pillow on my stomach when I have to sneeze or cough, but it still doesn't work that great. But I'm here, and I'm going to follow the doctor's orders, and I'm going to, most importantly, listen to my body and just relax. Due back to work in 6 weeks. Hopefully I'll heal by then, but if not, then I'll ask him to extend it a couple more weeks. But we will see. All right, well, this is my 1 day post-op, and I will make a small video tomorrow to let you guys know how day 2 goes. All right, thanks for looking.